Sankt Traumartinszug Procession. Idea for a movie developed with a mate in the 90s, in a boozy mood without any intention of realization. The film is to be shot by two directors, one who makes dialogue-oriented, chamber drama-like art house films, and one who specializes in action. The first director will shoot the first 80% of the film. Part 1. The first 80%. The entire first part is set in the alternative, ecologically but also modernly designed, cozy kitchen of a not-so-young couple. The parents usually sit opposite each other at the table and are almost always visible together or individually in the picture. The only child, aged around 5 to 6, is sometimes in the picture. The parents are discussing whether their child should be allowed to join a large St. Martin's procession, like nearly all the other children at their child's school or kindergarten. Initially, the opinion is unanimous. The child should not take part in a Christian custom. The parents are obviously not members of other non-Christian religious communities, but are also not recognizable as outright agnostics. The main argument against taking part in the St. Martin's procession is that the child is not yet able to decide whether it wants to belong to a religion at all, and, if so, which one. That is why the child was not baptized. And now the child should not be influenced by participating in a Christian tradition before it can decide for itself. You can see the child with a self-made St. Martin's lantern crying a little in the background. However, one parent then argues that the child was already looking forward to the St. Martin's procession and that all their school or kindergarten mates and friends are also going. If their child is not allowed to join the procession, it might perhaps become an outsider. Obviously, however, this argument is not put forward because the child's interests are at the center of attention, but it is clearly about a power struggle between the parents. In the following, this struggle is conducted in a very bitter and sublimely heartful but always cultivated manner, and sometimes with the ultimate preservation of composure. The position for or against participation in the St. Martin's procession changes several times between the parents and is fought with ever new variations of the basic arguments. The child occasionally walks through the picture or can be seen in the background, sometimes crying, and usually with his lantern. In the end, the opinion prevails that the child is allowed to go to the St. Martin's procession. St. Martin's Day on the 11th of November, the 11th month of the year, walking through a large park with bushes and trees on the edge of a city street. In front is is a St. Martin's actor on a horse, accompanied by several riders carrying flaming torches. Although the whole thing is intended for children, there are more adults, parents, grandparents, and other relatives than children. The procession is filmed from several perspectives, sometimes in long shots, sometimes in close-ups, even from the air and with very mobile cameras. This and the changing camera angles and shots create more and sometimes more hectic dynamics than the leisurely procession itself. You can also sometimes see our child from the first part of the film in the close-ups, but without accompanying parents or other adults. The child walks close to the horses. In a longer shot that lingers on the child, we see it stumble, and its lantern with a real candle falls between the legs of the horse. The horse shies and makes all the horses uneasy until St. Martin's horse breaks free and gallops towards the road. Several other horses follow in panic. Others get up on their hind legs, turn and run into the crowd behind them. Panic breaks out. One horse is filmed in such a way that it looks like in Fuseli's painting The Nightmare, its blind eyes wide open. On the nearby road, cars try to avoid the horses galloping towards them. A large lorry veers off the road and crashes uncontrollably into a petrol station. The petrol station explodes almost immediately with a huge fireball. A tall residential building next to it catches fire. At a road construction site on the edge of the park, an exposed gas pipe catches fire and explodes. The bushes and trees in the park have also been burning for a long time. A huge chain reaction. People scream and wander around helplessly. Then the camera catches our child again. The child seems strangely calm in the chaos and appears to be searching. The camera stays with the child, then moves slightly upwards. We see the child bend down and pick up something. It is his lantern, which is undamaged and in which the flame of the small candle is still burning. The child smiles happily. The camera climbs higher and captures a bird's eye view of the still burning and partly already smoking charred landscape of the park, with people lying on the ground and wandering around. Diagonally across the screen, which shows the destroyed, almost apocalyptic park landscape from high above, St. Martin rides on his panicking horse to the beginning credits.